Hey y'all, I'm so excited to really quick just give y'all a little bit of a chit chat on the book Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. At the Black Romance Book Fest, I had the distinct pleasure of quickly interviewing Kennedy, just asking her a couple of questions about her writing and Hendrix, the main female protagonist, and it was I was like, oh, so grateful for the opportunity to just get the chance to chat with her one on one. But before I get to the interview with Kennedy, which is after this, my little spiel here, I just quickly want to talk to you all about why I loved this book so much. Now, I am a contemporary girly. I like a little bang bang, but I love me a good old fashioned just love story. But with Can't Get Enough, there's so many things that struck me. So many things that struck me. But in the first question that I asked Kennedy, I was like, Kennedy, did you write this book for me? And not on like an ego type of thing, but on a real, like, I felt like she wrote this book for women like me, for like some of us. Hendrix is 40 years old. She's childless by choice. She's a businesswoman. She got her own money. She's got her own happiness and her own fulfillment, right? But there's this small part, maybe just a portion of her that doesn't necessarily long for companionship, but wouldn't mind it either, right? Wouldn't really mind it either. And I think that there's a lot of women like that, like myself, who are happy and we're fulfilled in our lives, and we wouldn't mind companionship, true love, having our person. And so when I was reading this book, Hendrix is like, she doesn't want kids, right? And I think that that's a narrative that goes undertold. And I'm not saying I don't want kids either, but I'm also 40 years old. So I'm like, yeah, you know? And and also the fact that she just had these really fulfilling relationships with friends, with her mother, with her aunt. Like she had these things. And it made me kind of, it had me reflecting a lot. In Hendrix's story, she is having to navigate her mother's Alzheimer's diagnosis. And the difficulty of that sort of experience of kind of losing a parent who's still technically there. And it made me just kind of reflect on the fact that my own grandmother had Alzheimer's, and my aunt took care of her. And it gave me a different perspective of that diagnosis, and the hardship and how difficult it must have been for her. And just the mother-daughter relationship, which like I said, I'm very close to my mother. Like, that's my girl. I love my mama. And so I was on that part, I was just like in love with the story, right? I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then the love part, right? The part about being loved completely. And the part of like being this grown, mature woman who has, not, like I said, not has it all, but has everything she could want. She has the happiness she could want. And yet, she wouldn't mind having that level of companionship, having her person. And so I resonated so much with this story because I feel myself in that same spaces at times of being happy, having a sense of fulfillment with my life and the things that I've done and the things I hope to aspire to in the future. And also being like, wow, it would be nice as well. Love would be nice as well. So I really love this story. Like I said, it hit me from all angles. It got me from the mother-daughter relationship, navigating her mother's diagnosis. It hit me from the being 40 and being childless by choice. It hit me from the part of having these two best friends who have partners and have kids and are satisfied, and feeling like the third wheel or the fifth wheel, and being like, I didn't realize that. I don't like that feeling right now, I just truly loved the story. I thought it was phenomenal. It's incredible. I highly encourage you all to read it if you have not read it already, because it's just so good. Like, It's got everything you want. It's got love, it's got drama, it's got steam, it's got the spice, y'all. Okay, and not no little one scene spice, like spice. But it's got incredible underlying messages that it's got it all. It's got it all, y'all. So again, I love this book. Oh, it was so good, y'all. It's so good. Can't recommend it enough. Go out and read it, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. So now let's get to the interview. Check out me and Kennedy at the Black Romance Book Fest having a quick chat about her book. I hope you enjoy the interview, and I hope you pick up Can't Get Enough.
Yeah.
So, hey, Kennedy.
Hi, Ashley.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm hot.
I know.
Y'all see me sweating? No, you didn't.
So, the book.
Yes.
Oh my, did you write it for me? Like,
Ashley.
were you like, Ashley would like this book?
Yes,
Like,
actually. I think, I had very specific women in mind when I wrote Can't Get Enough. And I think from the response that I'm getting, it reached them.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about Black women who are 35, 40, 45, who are single, who are ambitious, who are driven, who are taking care of other people, even as they're taking care of themselves. Hopefully they're taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
Those are the women I had in mind. Women who are pouring out constantly and who need a soft place to land sometimes. So if that's you, then yes, I wrote this for you, Ashley.
Okay, so something that I really just love was just like the richness of like grown people romance. Like so I just turned 40 last year.
Congratulations.
Shout out to 40 gang.
Congratulations.
And I just love the fact that like Hendrix was childless by choice.
Yes.
Like she was a businesswoman. She was driven. She was passionate. She was a rich auntie.
Yes.
I like being a rich auntie,
Yes.
So tell me about like writing for like the quote unquote mature crowd. Like where does that come from for you?
I mean, I'm a mature woman.
Yeah.
I'm a grown woman.
Right.
And I like grown-ass romance.
Right.
I mean, growing up, I started reading romance really early, like in the 8th grade.
Okay.
Although Tia Williams the other day said she started reading the 5th grade. I said, good Lord.
Okay.
I said, Tia, where was your mama?
Right. Not supervised.
I know. Sorry, Tia.
I know.
But it's like, so when I was reading early, in 8th grade, all the heroines were like 19 years old, 20 years old. And still in romance, there's such a prevalence of younger women.
Absolutely.
And I think culture tries to erase us very early.
Absolutely.
35, where are we? 40, where are we? 50, we're non-existent. And so I just lean into my own experiences, but also I always talk about writing from the margins to the center. And culture edges us to the margins very early obviously as Black women, but also as we age.
Yeah.
And we still want backs cracked,
Right.
Look. But also we still want to be loved.
Absolutely.
And we deserve that.
Absolutely.
And so I wanted to write a story where I demonstrated that. And Maverick is someone who is down so bad for Hendrix, and loves, I love to say loves her outrageously.
Yes.
And so that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So what did Maverick represent for you? Because he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
If you know any billionaires, because I know you're traveling, girl, I'm single.
Yes.
But like, what did he represent for you as like a Black man? Like, how did he symbolize that for you?
You know what? Most of my characters tend to be aspirational. Like, I don't have a lot of billionaires in my catalog. It's not really what I do. Part of it was Hendrix having a partner. Hendrix is independently wealthy.
Yep.
She has her own money.
She had a G-Wagon.
She had a G-Wagon. Yeah. Okay. She's got the fabulous apartment.
Yes.
And she's always generous with her friends, so it's not like she's just, hoarding it all for herself. But I wanted her to have a partner who she didn't have to worry about him being intimidated by her, because Hendrix is somebody who is like, if you're going to detract from what I'm building, I don't need you in my life. And there's nothing about Maverick that's like, I need to be insecure. I'm going to detract from you. So I talk about integrity when I'm writing characters, and a lot of time when people talk about integrity, they're thinking about like a moral integrity. I'm talking about the base word integer, which means wholeness, which means whole. I wanted him as a man to be whole, so that he wasn't somehow insecure, somehow intimidated, somehow threatened. So he represents to me both of them represent a certain wholeness, which is like a security in who they are. But then he also represents, because he He is a billionaire, but he is someone who's incredibly generous. You know, we talk in the book about him making huge donations to HBCUs. We talk about him, you know, looking at cannabis as an industry in a redemptive way because it's something that's been weaponized against specifically the Black community. And now that it's illegal, you know, investing in cannabis
Let's
as
make
an
money.
yes,
Make
yes,
money,
and
yeah.
he sees it as a redemptive arc for something that's been weaponized. So I see him as that kind of man, you know, who sees his community, sees his resources as not something that he wants to hoard for himself, but wants to share, and he wants to build generational wealth because it's something that we have historically been denied. And so he's a man about his business, you know, and that same single-minded, determined ambition that he applied to building his dreams, he applies to pursuing Hendrix.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what I wanted readers to feel is this passion.
Oh, I felt it. I was like, this man love this girl, right?
Yes. And she deserves.
Yeah, and I will note my final part is just the story. There was like 2-3 parts where I almost cried, right?
Okay.
Because you wrote it so beautifully. Like I could feel her relationship with her mother, the vulnerability of just feeling a loss but presence. You know, and I just thought like that's such an amazing because I love my mama, you know, and I just would imagine having to go through that situation. And I read the
author's note.
Yeah, and that's where I almost started.
Okay.
I was like, Lord. But then the book kicked up and I was like, all right, we're back. But I just thought it was such a beautiful story. I love, as a member of 40 Gang, I loved all the aspects of her relationship with her mother, her relationship with this man, and with her friends. And I just thought it was so great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
It was important to me.
Yes.
So
Thank you, Kennedy. All right. Bye, y'all.